Hey guys, SweetBananaGaming here, coach of your Orlando Solgaleo, here with our team builder for our Week 7 battle, our rematch against Rewt and the New Jersey Brobats. Now, if you watched, you probably watched the Week 5 battle against Rewt, and we had a hard time. Not to spoil it, if you haven't watched it already, you know, go ahead and go watch it, but we had some issues, namely, the Ambipom and the Celesteela caused a huge problem for me where I feel like the rest of his team that he brought, at least, we had good answers for, but we kind of, there was this whole, like, war of attrition thing going on with the Celesteela, and I made some poor plays. I still was pretty close to being able to maybe have a good, like, have a 50-50 shot, I think, at a come-from-behind victory, and I went for a wrong move. I went for a Moonlight when I probably should have gone Moonblast, but and got encored into it, and that just sealed my fate on Clefable with my last Pokemon. I did not plan for Encore on Politoed, but now I know. I am that much wiser. But I'm gonna go over my sets here, basically. Like in planning for the next battle. Now, when you have a rematch against somebody, obviously this is an opportunity you can consider what they brought, you see what they did the first time around, and plan things to counter the things they brought. The other flip side of that is they could bring completely different sets just to baffle you, but then if they're the ones who were victorious last time, they might be tempted to run something pretty similar. So we don't really know what's going to happen. It could he could run a similar team. He could bring completely different Pokemon with different sets for this battle coming up. But we are doing this match only a couple days apart because again, this is part of my recording in advance, and so we're pretty close together. So I don't think like there have been no trades made or anything like that. So it's the same selection of Pokemon that he could have, and I was considering whether to bring a couple different Pokemon. Like, for instance, I think Blaziken might have been able to help me out a little bit, even though we were fighting Rain Team. Blaziken might have been able to help me out against the Celesteela, maybe some support there. But I decided, for the most part, the 6 Pokemon that I chose to bring last time, they were, of course, the 6 Pokemon that I wanted to bring, not knowing what 6 Pokemon he would bring. And even given the Pokemon he brought, I think the Pokemon I brought, I would still bring them. But I am making a couple of slight changes to the sets. Not all of the sets, but about, I guess you could say I made minor to major changes to half of the sets. So we're gonna go through that real quick. For the most part, you know these Pokemon from last time, and so I'm just gonna mainly focus on what is different this time around. So let's go ahead and start with the Mega Absol. This is the only one where I'm bringing something completely different. Instead of running Jolly, I'm running Naive because I want to have, originally I was gonna run Fire Blast, but I opted for Thunder instead because of wanting to, in case the rain does get set up, I want to be able to capitalize on that. Now, with Thunder, I of course have to be careful for the Mega Sceptile coming in, but I still have Sucker Punch for priority to do some decent damage to it. Now, if he, thinking about it, last time he ran a Physical Sceptile, so the Lightning Rod thing wouldn't even matter so much. I mean, it would make my attack useless, but it wouldn't, unless he's running Mixed, it wouldn't make him super duper threatening to me. But it looked like last time he had a completely physical set. I only got to see, what, 2 of his moves? I only got to see Swords Dance and Leaf Blade. I think those are the only 2 I got to see him use. So who knows what else he had. But since he was Swords Dance, I'm likely to believe he was running Jolly. But he could have run something like Naive or whatever the other one. I forget what the other one is off the top of my head. But either way, and he could run special, yeah, special or mix this time around, but I'm going for the Thunder because if the rain gets up, I'll have a 100% accurate Thunder to hit the Celesteela, and I think it will surprise, I don't think you'll expect it, given I didn't have it last time. So it's something new, it's a new way to get rid of that. It's also something for the Politoed, even though, I didn't have Absol around last time by the time the Politoed came out. And I still have Sucker Punch for priority against the Mega Sceptile. And running Will-O-Wisp and Substitute. Now, I actually didn't realize, until somebody told me, that Absol gets Will-O-Wisp. I know, you know, I really was doing my research, huh? So, but you know, things have been busy right now, so I haven't had much time to experiment apart from most of the sets I've been running. But Absol is pretty versatile as far as its move pool, and has pretty good, even with little investment, has decent special attack. So I went ahead with Will-O-Wisp as well. It's something that could hit the Celesteela. Now, I mean, I don't need it for the Celesteela, but it would help a Pokemon like Solgaleo to come in against it, or something else. It wouldn't help my Dhelmise because of things, but it would help Clefable a little bit. It would help Naganadel a little bit, and also if he runs the physical Sceptile again, it could be good for that. I could, I think he had physical, well, I mean, he had a defensive, but I think he was physical on Swampert. It could, if he decides to bring the Kyurem, it could kind of neuter the Kyurem a little bit, which is really important because that's a dangerous Pokemon right there. It could hurt the Ambipom. There are many things that it could be useful for, and then it has good synergy with Substitute because you have a chance your Substitute staying up longer if your opponent is burned. And then it further has more synergy with Solgaleo's Parting Shot, so I could Parting Shot into Absol, get the burn, and Substitute, or some combination like that. Other than that, Sucker Punch, you know, is Sucker Punch. I have the same attack stat and the same speed stat as I did when I was running Jolly, just now I have room for a little bit of special attack investment to do a little bit of damage with Thunder if I need to. So, moving on to Naganadel. Naganadel has the exact same set. Actually, it did really well for me in our last match. Just, if I had not been in such a hole prior to sending out Naganadel, and actually if I had sent Naganadel out 1 or 2 turns sooner than I did, like the time that I went for Dhelmise, if I had gone for Naganadel instead, I would have had to risk, if I had done the calculations that Earthquake would not one-hit KO and I could set up a nasty plot, I would have done it a lot sooner, and I mean, I would have still had to make sure Fire Blast hit, but I would have, it would have saved me a lot of trouble, because then I would have had Dhelmise in the back to help me against the Swampert and against the Sceptile. It would have helped me out a lot to still have the Dhelmise with me. So that was one of the major misplays. That at that point I was just flustered, and I didn't do the calculations on Earthquake. I just assumed, and you know what happens when you assume, I just assumed that the Celesteela would take me out, and it with 1 Earthquake, and it couldn't. So now I know that, unless he decides to run offensive, so I will have to do some scouting if he brings it again and check that out. Anyway, same thing. Just, you're gonna see later that I'm running Sunny Day on the Clefable, and that is to prepare me for either way. I have Thunder on Absol if the rain is up, and otherwise if the rain is up and I need to get rid of the Celesteela, I want to set a Sunny Day, and then the Fire Blast here and Flamethrower on Solgaleo will be powered up, and or you know, another option, it'll force him to bring the Politoed back in, something to that effect. So, but other than that, Naganadel, exactly the same set. Galvantula, running the same, the only difference is instead of Giga Drain, which, looking at that especially bulky Swampert, the Giga Drain, running Giga Drain was not even worth it. I pretty much have to rely on, either being set up with Clefable or, rely on Dhelmise to be sure I can take out that thing. So I swapped it for Protect. Reason being, I'm pretty sure, even though I did it before, I'm pretty sure I want to lead Galvantula no matter what again. And if he brings the Ambipom again, if he leads the Ambipom, I can Protect this time. And so, and then I can guarantee to get the web up, or, you know, something. I open up my options. I won't have to do the risky play that I did at the beginning of the last match, which admittedly did throw him off and kind of in the short term worked in my favor, but it was not the ideal play to have to make. So running Protect on that instead. Everything else is the same. Same EV spread and everything too. And the Solgaleo is exactly the same. Again, the only difference is, again, with, I'm going to be running Sunny Day on Clefable, so Flamethrower will be more powered up in that instance if I can get the sun up. So other than that, same thing on Solgaleo. I will make a mental note that I should make more use of Parting Shot. There were occasions where I could have made use of Parting Shot, and I could have traded off between Solgaleo and Dhelmise once or twice to lower it to the point where it couldn't hurt me, and then I could, I don't know, I could either get more flamethrowers on it, or just get to the point where I could wall it with Dhelmise, something better, or swap in anybody else pretty much that I still had. So I have to make a note to make better use of Parting Shot. I always feel like because Solgaleo is not that fast, I can't make the best use of it, or in this case because I was faster than Celesteela, I didn't want to switch in on something and take damage. I wasn't thinking about how well Dhelmise would take an Earthquake, which would take really well if I swapped into it, and then even though we ended up having Air Slash, if I had again gotten a Parting Shot off on him, he would have been debuffed. So I could have made much better use of that there. So let's move on. Clefable, again, same set. Calm, I did, you know, go back and forth, should I run Bold, but again, Clefable does Calm a little bit better in most instances, and just on the off chance he decides to run Special on the Sceptile, although he'll probably still be packing Heavy Slam on Celesteela because he knows he has to, but even if I ran Bold, Heavy Slam would still be doing a lot to me, so I can always like run Burn and Parting Shot on the Celesteela now that I have that kind of dynamic going on this team. But same set. I just swapped Stealth Rock for Sunny Day because, you know, in retrospect, I really didn't make use of Stealth Rock. It could have, you know, maybe done something for me in chip damage if there was a lot of swapping out, but it really wasn't a lot of swapping out. It was just, at least in the beginning, it was just Celesteela sitting on the field, taking everything and buffing up its special defenses gradually. So the only thing it really could help is some chip damage off on things, mostly the Curum because it's super effective, but I think running Sunny Day will be better. Again, if he goes Rain, I feel like he has to because the Rain plus the Celesteela, it's just really good synergy. And then the other end of having the Sceptile to absorb an incoming electric attack, I think he has a pretty perfect triangle dynamic there. So the Sunny Day is there to try to mess that up a little bit, just to throw it off kilter. And again, if not, I have Thunder on the Absol. I could run Thunder on the Galvantula, but I'd still think I'd rather run Volt Switch in that case to give myself switch initiative opportunity. I'm going to be very judicious with my use of electric attacks with the Sceptile around, so. But it just gives me some options now. I can take advantage of Rain, or I can mess up the Rain and take advantage of the Sun. The only thing that would be better is if I were also running Flamethrower or Fire Blast on this Clefable, but it's so such circumstantial situation. It would be much better for me to run Moonblast, and I need Calm Mind and Moonlight together. So the Sunny Day is just there to help somebody else, because odds are if I'm in against the Celesteela, it only needs one Heavy Slam to take me out unless I've already debuffed it a little bit, so I probably won't be staying in with the Clefable after a Sunny Day, but you know. And last but not least, we have the Dhelmise with the exact same set as before. I mean, I did not preserve Dhelmise for long enough, but again, I was at the point that I sent in Dhelmise against the Celesteela, I was pretty much sure I was over getting 5-0'd. And again, hindsight is 20/20. When I'm more rational and I realized that I could take an Earthquake on that set the Celesteela was running, I could have switched into Ganondel earlier and had Dhelmise sitting there to take on the remaining, basically all his water types. The only thing I would have had a kind of a problem with was the Ludicolo, but I feel like Clefable, having Clefable and Dhelmise left, they could have kind of tag teamed there a little bit and had. It wouldn't have been a guaranteed win for me, but it at least would have given me a decent shot at coming back. So that's it basically. Those are my sets. Gonna Not gonna get too much more into it because, again, you kind of know the sets. They're mostly the same, and I explained the differences. Like I said, I don't think I would change the 6 Pokemon I'm bringing. As you can see, I'm not. So even though he might change the 6 that he's bringing, I still think these 6 are pretty good because, I mean, if he brings the Drapion, I have Earthquake. And I have things that can take it pretty well if I get boost on Naganadel and everything. If he brings the Kyurem, I still have answer for that, and I can burn it. And Clefable actually answers it pretty well, although I am not running Bold again, so I'm running Calm, but I could still, under the right circumstances, I could still handle that pretty well. The Gardevoir, I would doubt that he would bring the Gardevoir. I have more than one answer to it. And the Forretress, I don't see him bringing either, but again, I have more than one thing that can answer to it, and, yeah, so that's it. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this little breakdown. So hopefully I'm gonna battle Rewt in a couple hours here, so we'll see if I was able to learn from my mistakes, or if he can get the upper hand on me once again. But one thing's for sure, it will be an intense battle against our rival. So guys, if you like this video, be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, show your support, and subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss a single PGBL match. And that's gonna do it. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon for our PGBL Week 7 match, our rematch against Rewt, our rival, and we're the Orlando Solgaleo, Rewt and the New Jersey Brobats. I haven't had much sleep this week, so please forgive me. See you later.